And for more reaction to this, we are joined live by Amy O'Neill, Director of Treetop Children's Center. Amy, thanks so much for being here with us. Now, a lot of parents that we have been speaking to are saying, how can this be prevented? And the education minister says he's going to make some changes, especially when it comes to those parking spaces right next to daycare centers. He wants those blocked off. What do you make of this announcement?
Well, first of all, I'd just like to say that my heart goes out to the children, families, and educators that have been affected by this horrible tragedy. My first response is that I think that the measures would be a good idea, but that we need to look at various settings because some childcare centers are standalone, some are located in schools. And it could be problematic for those of us that are located in school boards to start installing bollards, and very expensive.
Okay, along with that, Amy, would you say, this is seen as reactive or proactive?
I think it's a reactive approach. I think the key issue here, though, is safety, and we all want children to be safe. We send our children to childcare because we want them to be safe and taken care of and have their early learning development needs met. But at the same time, childcare is very costly. And to run a high quality program, you need adequate funding. And I'd like to ask whether this legislation will include full funding to implement these measures, because if not, then it will be very challenging for childcare operators to effectively meet these new standards.
Yeah, and touching more on that funding aspect, right? It's still unclear who's going to pay for these bollards and planters in front of these centers. What would you like to see happen?
So what I'd like to see happen is that the provincial government fully fund the implementation of these new measures, because if they take it away, particularly for those of us in the $10 a day childcare program, that funding will be taken away from the care and the needs of the children and will reduce quality. So we need to see this government make sure that they fully fund the implementation of this new policy.
Is this something that's been discussed before?
It has, and in fact, it's been brought up at several operator groups in the past, and we've asked. However, some of us have asked for additional safety measures. However, there are zoning and bylaw restrictions, particularly in the GTA, that have prevented some of us from installing these new measures due to the regulations.
And the education minister also says he wants to work with childcare centers to identify any other safety gaps. Is there anything you can think of off the top of your head that needs to be addressed when it comes to safety?
Well, I think that all stakeholders need to be consulted on this new policy because we're all very different in terms of locations, settings, sites, rural versus urban. I mean, we all have different needs and different challenges. And so I think it's very important that stakeholders in the early learning and childcare sector are consulted.
Is there a different answer you'd like to see that you think could be better?
I'm not sure that anything can really prevent tragedies from occurring. I think legislation after a tragic incident can be a little bit challenging because everyone in the community is mourning, and to put in place a new policy without consultation is very challenging.
Yeah, understood. Well, Amy O'Neill, Director of Treetop Children's Center, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.